Hey there, welcome back to the channel PantherSchools. My name is Amit Singh, and in this video we are going to talk about a latest tool which Salesforce has introduced called as Agentforce Vibes. This is not just a vibe coding, this is more likely your friend, your colleague or a developer who is sitting inside your browser or who is sitting inside the VS Code. Agentforce Vibes is more likely the extension on the Agentforce for developers which we had earlier, where we were able to ask the details like modifying a code, and then we can basically utilize that code and send it to our Salesforce org. Agentforce Vibes is going to do much more on that. You just have to basically give certain information, and then Agentforce Vibe is going to act on behalf of you. You can access Agentforce Vibes from the extension, which is Salesforce extension pack, which is the default extension for Salesforce. You can see here I have already opened this Agentforce Vibes over here in my VS Code, and my Agentforce Vibe is connected with one of the MCP server, which is Salesforce DX MCP server. Second thing is that you can open your MCP, you can open Agentforce Vibes from the Salesforce org by clicking on this gear icon and then click on Agentforce Vibes. This Agentforce Vibes might not be available in the existing developer orgs, but if you're signing up for the new developer org, or I will give you the link in the comment, in the pinned comment, which will help you to sign up for the new developer org, which can help you to open the Agentforce Vibes in the browser if you want to open in the browser. What it will do is it will basically open in the browser. It will take some time to load it for the first time, and then it will automatically connect with your Salesforce org. For this demo, I'm going to utilize VS Code, and you can also utilize VS Code if you do not want to utilize the browser one. What I'm going to do is here I have got a very simple requirement. The requirement says that create a custom object redemption code with the required field which will be used to store a redemption code for the digital books. And please add the meaningful fields, create a custom tab, deploy the changes to the connected org. This is what I wanted to do for the first time, and then we will be doing the additional deployment and additional refinement on the requirement. If you see here on the bottom, there are two things which we have got: plan and act. Plan is the one which if you select plan and if you try to put your requirement, this will help you to tell you the plan. It is going to detail out the plan for you. You can ask the changes or you can make the necessary changes, and then you can switch to the act tab. One more thing, currently it is connected to the core model. If you go to the act, then it's not showing this, but currently for few requests it will be on the core model, it will be on the pro model. Pro model is going to act very fast, and it is going to create the metadata or the requirement very fast that you are asking. And then after certain, when the usage has been exhausted, it is going to switch to the core model so that it is not interrupting you to work on this. The only thing that the only I would say problem with the core model will be that it will act slow. That's it. Also, one more thing, what I have done is I have already set up Salesforce DX MCP server, which is in running status for my project. If you do not know how to set up MCP server, please watch the video. I'll give you in the pinned comment, as well as you will see in the information here as well on your screen. Please watch that video, which is for setting up the Salesforce DX MCP, which will be really helpful for you to work on the reusable tasks like assigning the permission sets, creating the records, listing the accounts, and many more things. What we are going to do is we are going to utilize with the act tab. So I'm putting the requirement, click on act. Send the request. What it will do is it will analyze. In the meantime, we are speaking here. It is going to give me the act that what it is going to do here. This is a plan that Agentforce or developer is coming up for me, and it says that okay, I'm going to create these object, these are the custom fields which I'm going to do, and then I'm going to create a tab, and then it says that okay, what you want me to do? Do you want the keep as redemption code or corrected to redemption code? I'll say just use the corrected one. So it will keep asking you also. It will not like go and blindly do the things. It will ask the details whenever it feels that the tool does not has the necessary information. The best thing is that it is going to operate on the on top of your org metadata, the metadata that you already have in the connected project in your connected Salesforce org. and Salesforce is not going to use your metadata, your code to train their model. That's what they have explicitly mentioned. Then once you get all this, see here, this is the object which is created based on what basically I have along with the fields. You can see here and click on save. It is definitely not going to save it without asking, and then it has created a tab. Then it is asking me to save it, and once it has done, now it is basically going to use the username to get the username for me to find out where to deploy. I will say go ahead, approve. Then it is going to perform certain task, approve it, and then there are certain error. It says invalid enum value. It says I am going to deploy to this connected org, which is my connected org. You can see here sfdc new training, and I'll say go ahead and deploy it. It will try to deploy, and if there are certain errors or something, then it will try to fix it automatically. Now it is time to use this action called as deploy metadata. These all actions are coming from my MCP server which we have set up. That is why I recommended you to go ahead, set up that MCP server. You can see here it tried to deploy and it has failed actually, and once it has failed, it has automatically tried to fix that issue, and once you click on save, after fixing this issue, it will again go ahead and try to deploy it, and it has again failed. It will again try it, and now you can see here it says that pro model, as we talking about, there are two types of model, pro and core. So pro is going to work initially for I believe up to 50 requests on a daily basis for a single project, single org that you have connected, and then it will switch to core model if you are exhausting the 50 requests. The clear numbers I'm also not sure, but the numbers are somewhere around 50. Now you can see here it's the status says succeeded, and this is what the task has been completed. An object has been created, redemption code with all these fields, and a custom tab org development has been done. And if we go back to our Salesforce org, this is my org where I'm connecting with VS Code, and then we go to the object manager, search for redemption code, and you can see here that object has been created and it was actually modified today and created today. If you open this object, you'll find the details about the fields that we have. These are all the fields that it has created actually, including what is the code, is it active or not, what's the license type, max redemption, order source, product. These are certain fields, like if you want you can modify it, like the data type of products and all those things. Once you have done, you can verify if the tab has been created or not. You can go to the tabs, and if you try to find out your tab, you should be finding out the tab called as redemption code is here. See, so you are able to get that work. Now we can say is that, let's go back to our requirement, and we can say that create a permission set. We're going to change this requirement. We will say create a permission set and provide the access to the custom object, this the name of our custom object, and then we are going to say its fields, and this custom tag. So now what we are doing is we are saying that okay, go ahead, create a permission set, provide the access to the custom object, provide the access to the redemption tab, and deploy the changes to the Salesforce org. Before we do that, after it has deployed, we are also going to say that okay, go ahead and assign the permission set. We are saying that go ahead and assign the permission set to the connected user, and then click on send. And what it will do is, because we are on the same window, it is going to take the context out of it. It will create the permission set. You can see here the name of permission set is redemption code access. If you want to change certain things over here, you can change it, and once you are done, go ahead and click on save. So permission set, now everything is basically getting created and saved inside your project location, and once you have done, it is trying to deploy it. We will say go ahead. Now again it is saying that it fails. What I have noticed is that sometimes when it comes to, especially with the metadata for permission set and metadata for flexi pages, this tool doesn't really works well, but it's definitely going to improve day by day, because Salesforce is going to definitely working behind this, and it will be basically working fine. Even though if it is not working 100%, it is basically doing a lot of work of a developer and of an admin who basically is going to spend a lot of time in setting up all these details like objects, fields, permission set, and then we will also talk about how it is going to help for the developers. Now it is still failing here. Let's see what Agentforce is doing. Okay, and finally you can see here the deployment has been succeeded. Now a new action, a new tool from our Salesforce DX MCP server is being asked to assign the permission set. I will say go ahead, assign it. So basically it tried a couple of times, it failed, and then finally it got successful, and the permission set also has been assigned. Once the permission set has been assigned, you will see here and what basically has happened. Everything is basically working fine. Now if you go back to your Salesforce org and let's refresh this page, and we click on this, we basically try to search for our custom tab that we have just created, which is redemption code, and you will see here that we have got that permission set, custom object is here. If you click on new, you are able to see all the required fields, because the other fields basically uh, you can verify that the access to the other fields should be there, but it is more likely the fields are not added in the page layout. If you go to the page layout and try to open it, you will see here that these all fields are not added. Now you can basically ask that your tool to say, hey, go ahead and create a page layout, add these fields in the UI, and it is going to do it for you. Next thing what we will do is, now this was the first piece of requirement. Now what you wanted to do is basically you want your Agentforce, Agentforce vibes to create the record of redemption code. Maybe you say that, hey, whenever an order is created, create the record of redemption code object. So I have given a command here. I said that, okay, when an order item is created in Salesforce and the value of type custom field is a digital, then the order item on the item is standard object, then create a record of this object with the required information, send the email to the customer with the verification with the redemption code, and do not use email template for sending the code. This is a requirement which we have mentioned and asked to our vibes to work, and we click on send. Then again it is going to basically analyze the intention, the behavior, what basically the emotions behind it, and then it is going to give you that this is what it is going to do. And then what you can do is you can say send to the orders account's primary email auto number, and we'll say okay, go ahead, utilize the standard account email. Then we will, it says that there are certain assumptions that API name of quick list is this, case sensitive, all this information. We will say yes, go ahead, proceed with the assumption, and it will basically start creating the record. It will start creating the trigger for us. You will see that it has now, see here, it has basically started creating the complete code for us. And as I mentioned that it has temporarily switched to the core model, which is basically which can be switched after your request has been exhausted, and that's why we are able to see this. Once you see that okay, your code is fine, if you want to make certain changes like in the email body and something at some other places, you look at the best practices that it is following all the best practices, and once it is done, then you are going to basically say okay, go ahead and click on save. Once you are done, it will basically, it's try to create this trigger on the order item, you can see here, and it says that okay, I'm going to do it on order after insert, certain checks are here, the handler is being invoked, kind of following all the best practices, writing the test class for you as well. Save it. Once you are okay with the test class, it might not basically work well before it try to deploy. There could be certain issues like some sort of custom fields which are not available in my org, like the type custom field on the order item object, or certain other fields might be missing whatever the vibe has used, but you have seen that it is actually has generated the missing metadata. It is trying to generate missing metadata. It has generated the good quality of code, which again can be refactored by the developers, because it's definitely going to be and should be reviewed by the developers who are utilizing this tool. If you as a developer are utilizing, you have to review this. You can see here it was failing due to person account was not enabled in my org and other things, and it has tried to make some changes and then it's saving it. So it is basically going to make the certain changes, make the changes all over the places wherever it feels that there could be some error, and it is going to work. Similarly, if you have an existing piece of code that you wanted to improve, you can add the context. You can basically tell the Agentforce vibes that, hey, this is my class, this is my existing class, could you please improve it? These are all the improvements that I'm looking for. Okay, so I'm going to basically stop this because it's definitely not going to work, as I have got the fields, the required information is not set up in my Salesforce org, and that is why it failed. And initially itself, it asked that I'm going to assume certain things, and which this tool is trying to assume, and because of that it is failing. So if you have all the required setup available in your Salesforce org, it is definitely not going to fail. Let me cancel this because I wanted to showcase some other things. Now, because we have got all these, like this is what we have already tested and it's working fine. Let's say that you have got an existing Apex class which you want to improve, and for that I have got an Apex class called as cursor example. This is my Apex class, on which I'm going to basically deploy to Salesforce org for the first time, because my Apex class in Salesforce org is different than whatever it is here. Now what I'm going to do is, I basically have got a instruction for this, and the reason I've got these instructions because I wanted to make sure that it is going to get all the required information that it needs. So what I've said is, I've said modify cursor example Apex class. I can also add this. So how to add it? You can utilize @ and click on add file, then search for your Apex class. So you have to search for Apex class. Okay, sorry. And @ add file, and then you have to search for, just search for cursor. Cursor example is the name of my Apex class. I've got that, so I've added it. Now I've added this, and then say okay, Apex class. Please do not use offset. So basically, cursor is a new innovation that Salesforce has came up, especially for getting the records in the chunk, which is going to be helpful to process the records in the chunks, going to be helpful for processing the records in the form of pagination that you wanted to display in the UI. That is what I'm saying, is that modify this Apex class so that it can be used as pagination from the Lightning Web component and display the record in the table format. The LWC should display the total records in the page numbers and some other things. I have asked explicitly not to use offset and use the database.cursor. This is basically going to be a class that we have got. And then I've also got some sort of further instructions here. And if you click on send, then what it is going to do is basically it is going to start analyzing the Apex class. It's going to start basically creating some, see here, it's trying to create an aura component. It's basically, I have not especially specified, but then it find that, oh, there is a LWC with cursor pagination, and then it tried to utilize that. It's trying to add all these components. See here. So what it does, it reads your project metadata, it reads your Apex class, it reads your org metadata, and find out if there is anything which is already existing, and then it starts using that. And that is why it found that, oh, there was a Lightning Web component that I'm going to rewrite it, because I have deleted from my local project, and it's going to basically rewrite the examples over here, and then it will keep asking me to basically approve the request or make the modification into the code that the tool has generated, which eventually is going to helpful basically in the long run as a developer. Now what I'm doing is, here I have just given a command, I'm sitting here and just approving it. With this, what will happen, it is going to basically make sure that developers are focusing more on the logic part, and they are not focusing on they are not focusing more on debugging or writing the test cases and other things. They will have more time to focus on the actual things instead of focusing on the things which are basically not needed, the things which can be utilized with the help of this tool, that a tool can work. Then it is again trying to edit something, but we will go back to our cursor pagination demo, and you can see here that our cursor pagination demo, which is this HTML file that we have got, it is using some sort of division tags over here, Now this has basically completed with the working, whatever the working we said. It's completed the working. Now if you want, you can go ahead and look at all your components which it has generated. You can see here what it has done. There are certain best practices it has not utilized, like forgetting the total counts, which is already there inside the database.cursor, which is located, which can be utilized. And then it is basically kind of utilizing the instance of Apex, instance of that object, that Apex class, preparing the response, and then sending it back to our component. You can go ahead and basically look at the demo component which it has created, and then you can basically preview it locally in the Lightning preview. If you don't know how Lightning preview works, for that also we have created a dedicated video how you can preview your Lightning Web component in the VS Code itself with certain limitations. But however, you can see here it is trying to preview some components. It's not able to do that. But if you click on this open, it will try to open in the local development environment, and we will see if it is actually working to see the preview or not. We will see if there is any error. There are certain error. Basically it is not able to resolve certain components, so that is why it says it's not working. We'll try to basically navigate to our component, that is cursor pagination. So basically this is how Agentforce Vibes is going to work. If you ask my opinion about Agentforce Vibes, this is an amazing tool. This is definitely has some limitations, like giving you the access to the pro model, which is again basically understandable because Salesforce has to pay a lot of money to the models whatever we are using. Maybe for example we are using ChatGPT, then Salesforce has to pay to OpenAI. Whatever the models that we are using, Salesforce has to pay, and that is why they have basically added some restrictions. Apart from that, it is definitely going to learn day by day. It is definitely going to basically improve the outcome that it is giving to us. As of now, it's basically not very good at working with the XML side of things. It's very good at working with Apex classes and other things. It will be working, but yeah, for XML side of things, it definitely needs improvement. If you ask me, shall we use this Agentforce Vibes or shall we use the other tools like Claude and ChatGPT? I would definitely say that go ahead and use Agentforce Vibes because this is the official tool by Salesforce. So you can be sure on the security that Salesforce says they are not going to uh, use your org data. They are not going to use your org metadata for training their model. So that is one of the safety that we have. And yes, if your organization is giving you the paid model for Claude, then I will go with the Claude at this point. Where it does says that Salesforce is not going to use the Salesforce like your org data. To do that, go to your Salesforce, search for Agentforce in the tab. Under the development, you'll find something called as Agentforce Vibe extensions, and this is there are certain points which you have basically which you can read it like Salesforce does not use your data or code to improve Agentforce vibes or train a global AI model. So Salesforce has clearly mentioned there that they are not going to use it. So that's it about Agentforce vibes. I hope you have found it useful. I hope you have found it how to use it, how to write the prompts with the context, and give all the details to the Agentforce vibes so that it works well with your context that you are giving. Try to put more and more information that you can do. Before you go ahead, give it a like, share, and subscribe the YouTube channel. Press the bell icon, which definitely is going to help us to create more and more videos on the latest topics that we have. Next, we are going to create videos on the latest updates which has came on the Salesforce Apex, especially in recent Dreamforce. Stay tuned for that. Thank you.